Hello. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome to the very first episode of Confessions of a Gamer Girl. I'm your host, Doomcutie, and I have my lovely co-hosts, Liessshy.
Hi, everybody.
And Ellie.
Hello.
And our amazing guest, the one and only Alanah Pearce.
Hello. What a cool intro, you guys. That was awesome.
Thank you so much. I think my time on other podcasts has given me a lot of experience. So, I'm really hoping that will be to my benefit. Intro is hot, just like us. Thanks.
Looked great to me.
All right. First of all, I wanted to give a shout out to Elgato. They are assisting us with our streams, making us sound and look beautiful. I know, Ellie, you've had a few issues with the courier, so we're not
just a couple.
I thought it was so funny when I was looking up the tracking, and there was just like this random photo of your front door with like
right. And I was like looking at it, I was like, what is going on there? Is that really what it looks like?
No, but anyway, so hopefully you'll be all kitted up for our next episode.
Exciting.
Awesome. For chat now, at the end we will be answering any of your questions, so if you do have an official really important question that you'd like to answer, like us to answer, put it in the chat and we will answer it we'll endeavor to answer it depending on how long the episode goes for. Also, Ellie has just had a little baby, so she might need to.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So she might need to step out throughout the show in order to appease her tiny human, which is totally okay.
Fair enough, I guess.
Yeah, he's with Daddy at the moment, but no doubt I'm going to be on mum duty anytime soon.
Awesome. Now, if you guys have been following along with our journey so far in the podcast, you will know that we released some videos, some Q&A videos, getting to know each one of the panel members, and just to get to know each other. So I think we'll start off just by giving a brief overview of ourselves, and I think we'll just start with that. Liessshy, do you want to go first?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name's Alicia, but I go by Liessshy online. I've been making content for close to 8 years now in the space, and I'm across the gaming and tech world. I love reviewing more technology than anything and showcasing the games that I like to play with everybody. And it's really nice to be a part of something special in an awesome community. And I think that's why I've stuck to it for so long. So really happy to be here with all of you today and hopefully get to know me a bit better.
Awesome stuff. Liessshy, I've been following you for a little while, and I've loved seeing your work with JBL. You've gone to Las Vegas. You've been just
a long way.
It has been incredible to watch you grow over the
Thank you
time
so
that
much.
I've been in this space. So I love having you a part of the panel. Thank you.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much.
Ellie, please tell the chat a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Ellie. Predominantly, I'm a streamer on Twitch. I've been doing that for about over a year now, and it's been lots and lots of fun. And I also am a game writer for Quest Daily, which is just a website with a bunch of reviews, fun tech things, gaming things, all sorts of awesome stuff. And I've been really enjoying that. So coming along to a podcast like this honestly combines my passions at the moment, which is gaming and chatting about gaming and hanging out with cool people. So definitely super excited to see where we go with the podcast, and just super stoked to be more involved with the online community with everything.
Oh, awesome, Ellie. It is an absolute pleasure to have you. And yeah, your writing on Quest Daily has been really awesome. And I really look forward to seeing you active on your socials and, starting to stream again, getting back into the groove of things. It's going to be amazing. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
and of
thank
course,
you.
Alanah, do you want to tell the chat a little bit about yourself? I'm sure they know a lot of stuff already.
Hi, I'm Alanah. I'm a video game writer at Sony Santa Monica Studio. But I've also been in the industry for, I think, 12 years now. I started out in Australia, of course. And I do just a bunch of content creation stuff across the board, everywhere you can make content, really. Except OnlyFans. Stop asking. We're not going to do it. It's not happening.
Yes. You know what? Because obviously, I wanted to do quite a lot of research about my guest, and there's a dedicated, and I'm not going to link it, but there's a dedicated Reddit about you, and people are just like, don't ask her. She doesn't make an OnlyFans, like all this stuff, and so I think people really are. They really do know that that's not your vibe, and that will never be your vibe.
And that's, to be clear, I bring it up as a joke more than anything. I'm totally in support of women making that kind of content. You sometimes see people be like, oh, it makes it harder for the real gamers on Twitch. I'm like, I don't feel like I'm in competition with any of these women. There are several niches, and I don't really want the same audience they have anyway. So totally in support of women who do want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I think people probably forget, like women in gaming, it's just one thing. It's not. There's so many niches inside that area.
Yeah.
And yeah, there are people who do make adult content, totally supportive of them. They make bank. So, good for them. But, I don't think you should assume that women, just because they're gamers, they make that content.
I think half the time people are asking like intentionally just to be jerks. I don't think they even expect you to do it. They're just trying to like belittle women on the internet half the time. But I mean, like I think Pokimane made a comment about how often people say it to her, like clearly it's just intended to be harassment most of the time. But I still think it's funny to joke about. So I really thought about making one where I just sell pictures of dogs that I've seen on walks.
Oh, I'd subscribe. I would subscribe.
What a great vibe.
Oh, definitely.
Take my money.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, thank you so much for being here. And yeah, definitely. I think the more conversations we have about this kind of thing, and the more in the space we are, the more we put ourselves in the space, the more that narrative will change, which is awesome. I guess that leaves me, Doomcutie.
Yeah, how about you?
How about me? I am actually a teacher by day. That's my qualification. I started content creating simply just to share my collection. I've got like quite a bit of stuff. I like in-game photography, that kind of thing, especially around Forza. Love that. That's my vibe. And then people were like, "Oh, do you want to stream? Are you going to stream?" I tried that. I'm really boring. And also have bad internet because I live in Australia. I'm bad because you know what happens, right? I will like hyper focus. I'll hyper focus on the game, and I don't feel like I'm entertaining, and I don't feel like I don't have this big personality for everyone to sort of bounce off and feed off. I'm probably much more of a, and in this situation, there's obviously more than one person, so I can bounce the energy off each other anyway. So yeah, I've tried that. I've done that a few times. And then I kind of wanted to get into something that I felt was a bit more serious, I suppose. And I had a lot of thoughts and feelings about the games I was playing, and I was like, right, well, how do you do this? How do you do this without having a journalism degree? Obviously, I've been to university. I have a brain. I can do this.
Good
Yay!
start.
Good for me.
Huge win. Huge dog.
So I realized I was like, I probably have to volunteer a lot of my time. So I've spent the last 2 years volunteering my time in writing. I haven't gotten a lot out as much as I've wanted to, simply because of my own personal life and my job and the things that do pay the bills. But I've enjoyed my time a lot.
I also just want to know, I did go to university for journalism, and I still had to volunteer for 3 years. I still had to write for free for 3 years, even after university. You don't just like get a job. It would be great, but you have to do the volunteering anyway.
Okay, well, there you go. That's a prime example. And I suppose people know that. I suppose, you go to university, you get a degree in journalism or communications, media, whatever, and then you think, oh yeah, I'll just go straight into the field that I want to work in. That's not the case.
Sounds great. Nope.
Good plan.
The dream.
Definitely. And then about 1.5 years ago, I got a Twitter DM from a guy named Risk It for the Biscuit. And he said, "Hi, would you like to be on a podcast?" And I'd never considered it before. And I was like, okay, cool. And Xbox Infinite is a Xbox-centric podcast. I'm on it every Saturday. I originally started as a guest. They asked me to stay. And whether or not that was for the girl factor or not, I'm not sure. But I'm a passionate Xbox ambassador, and I've always loved my time playing on Xbox. So, who knows? But they took a chance on me, and you know what? It ignited a passion in this field for me. So I am grateful for that opportunity that has come my way. And you know what? It just goes to show that your journey is not linear. Things are going to come in your path, and you're going to pick them up. You're going to let them go, and it's been honestly an amazing time. So, yeah, and guys, I'm shaking. I'm bloody shaking. I'm so nervous.
You are doing amazing. You should be so proud of what you've created.
Oh gosh. Okay,
so what do you teach?
Science and maths.
Oh, cool.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. So the school that I work at is a district high school. So we go from kindergarten to year 10. So that's 4-year-olds to 16-year-olds.
I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, well, when you only have like 200 children in a town of 900,
that's why your internet sucks. It all makes sense now. God.
I have Starlink internet. So it's better than it used to be. It used to be ADSL too. So we don't. Anyway. So I teach high school mathematics, and I teach year 2 to year 10 science. So
cool.
Wow.
Yeah, I've spent the last term on leave, which has been a great time because I've been able to invest a lot of time in creating a passion project like this, and I'm very modern for this town. I'm very modern, and this is where my relationships in the community have been so beneficial to me, because I wouldn't without this technology, I wouldn't feel like I have a place or a sense of belonging. So that's about me. Wonderful. Love that for me. Segue. I must learn some segues. I will endeavor to learn some. Is your baby okay, Ellie? Is he there?
Yes. Yeah, he's here.
Is he there?
Still
oh my
alive.
god, he's
Great
there.
news.
He's right.
Yeah.
No, he's right there. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, cute.
I think I can juggle.
It's very impressive.
No.
Good balance.
I am impressed. Okay. I'm just gonna look at the chat because we've got some familiar faces and we've got some new faces. Post up. Well, who else have we got? Jedi Knight Pete from Xbox Infinite. Quite a few people have come through from my previous podcast. So yeah, I'm familiar with some of them. Fid McAwesome, thanks for being here. No, fantastic. You know what? They've given me hell in party chats. Just saying, they've taken the mickey out of me in true gaming style. But yeah, their support is evident here. All right, Alanah, I have some questions.
Okay, I'm ready.
I promise they're not about OnlyFans.
Is it about Roe v. Wade? I have this like ongoing joke. Whenever I have to interview a celebrity, I will always be like, "Don't worry about it. It's gonna be really chill. I'm gonna ask you some really cool questions. Like, how do you feel about Roe v. Wade?" Which I don't know if you guys caught on the news about that in Australia, but every time I'll see like an actor with like their face goes white. I'm like, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna ask you about Roe versus Wade.
It's a nice icebreaker.
My go-to. How do you feel about abortion? And then they're like, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. You don't have to talk about that. It's all good.
Oh, geez.
I did it to Ralph Macchio, who plays Karate Kid. Yeah, he looked terrified. It is a good icebreaker, though. You can ask me about it if you want. Pro women's rights. Okay, let's keep going.
Absolutely.
What inspired you to enter the gaming space, and how did you launch your career in the US?
I've been playing games since I was like 4 years old, maybe younger. Me and my sister grew up playing Game Boy, Nintendo. Huge part of my childhood. And I also always really liked writing. So those were like the two passions that I had my whole life. Like I was writing books. I'm sure they're terrible. I don't know if I should call them books, stories, when I was like 8, whatever, you know. So I was doing those two things my whole life. I originally wanted to be an astronaut, but I found out that you can't be an astronaut if you have asthma, which I do have, and I was devastated.
I didn't know that.
Ableist, it's terrible. The dream's still alive in me somewhere. But I got this little astronaut tattoo to make up for it.
Love it.
So that was all I wanted to do. And then when I was going through school, again, I was still gaming all the time and I was writing. I just had a blog from maybe when I was like 14. I was writing like my own game reviews just because that was a thing that I did organically. And I think at the time, it never occurred to me that I could do it as a job. You didn't see or really know many people who did. I mean, we had magazines in Australia. Like I was reading Hyper Magazine. PC Power Play was also in Australia. Obviously, the Game Informer magazine came to have the subscription everybody had at EB. So I knew that like those existed, but I didn't really know how to transfer it to a job. So it just never even occurred to me. So when I was going through high school, I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I ended up studying psychology for 6 months. And I was like, I'm not going to turn this into a career. I dropped out, tried to figure out what I was going to do, and got a job at a call center in the meantime, which was awful. Wouldn't recommend it. I was still writing on the side, and I was trying to get out of the call center. And I was just looking for job listings, and I found a job listing for a volunteer gaming news writer. And I was like, oh my God, I could do that. And then I started doing that maybe 3 times a week while I was still working at this job. And then I was like, I love this. This is what I want to do. So I went to university. I went to Queensland University of Technology, studying a degree of mass communication, majoring in journalism and entertainment writing. And just like slowly built up a portfolio and got a little bit more experience as a volunteer for different websites. I was very aggressive about it. I would contact people and be like, let me write for you. I'll do it for free, please. And then I did the same thing with video. I did the same thing with radio in Brisbane, where I found a radio show that spoke about tech and was like, let me come on. I need the experience. So I demanded experience basically from anyone who would accept it, even like just juggling, also working at the same time and whatever. And then as I kept going, I realized that if I really wanted to work like full time in games media, there are so few jobs in Australia. I figured that I needed to do it in America. So I made a game plan to transfer to a university in California, which I did, which just requires like getting good enough grades, really. And lived in California for 6 months. And from there, met a bunch of people in games industry events intentionally. And before I had even left, I applied for a job at IGN and technically got the job before I went home, but went home for another 6 months before they could get all my visa stuff sorted. So that's the very short version, which is like as short as I can make it. But really, I was just very aggressive. I was like, I really want to do this. I know I want to do this. Oh my God, these are the 2 things that I love. So I just kind of did everything that I could to make it happen. And like, I was really bad on camera at first. And I was like, well, this industry seems to have a focus on video, even though like all I want to do is write. I recognize that if I want to be employable, I have to fix that. And so I did a lot of like fake YouTube content that I never published just to practice. And I learned to edit, and I learned to audio edit and do a little bit of audio engineering stuff so that I could just be as employable as possible, basically. And from IGN, just kept trying to refine and figure out what I wanted to do. And now I'm a video game writer at Sony Santa Monica Studio, which I love. It's awesome.
That's amazing.
Like,
Oh gosh.
It's so inspiring. It's just so inspiring. Like, your journey it's so, I don't even have the words. Like, I've followed you for so many years now, and to see the progress you've made, it really gives me hope that so many other females in this space can do what you do, or get to the dream that they want to get to. And like you said, being aggressive towards it and really being driven with what you want. Like, that's the only way you're going to get things these days. You have to work for it, and you have to believe in yourself. And yeah, like, kudos to you, because you've just done so amazing for this whole industry.
You. I have this tweet that's currently in my drafts that I'm excited to tweet. That's from August 12th, 2013. And I said something along the lines of like, I'm getting so sick of volunteering as a writer. Is anyone ever going to pay me to do this? And it's so nice that I have that from exactly 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But now I get to do it full time, and I do it at like one of my favorite game studios ever. And I'm like, you totally can. You just can't give up. And obviously there's a ton of privilege that comes with that. My family doesn't have a lot of money, but they were letting me live at home. Like, I had to pay, I think, like $50 a week rent. And they were lending me money to go get flights to Sydney, which is like definitely a hard thing in Australia, is you kind of have to be where all the games are, and that's not where I lived.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of help that is a lot harder if you have bills to pay or a family to feed or whatever. So I couldn't have done it on my own, but I definitely was aggressive and very, very tireless about it. And one thing that was kind of an issue in Australia at the time that I'm hoping isn't is that I know like the US had at some point too, but it's kind of gone away, is there was definitely like this only one girl sort of mentality. Like, I felt like the women in Australia at the time, again, over 10 years ago, were really competitive with one another in a way that was like, there's only one, and how dare you? And like, it was like, I maybe tall poppy syndrome. Like, that's an Australian thing. I don't know if that was part of it too. So I kind of felt like I had to leave in a way that I was like, I'm not trying to steal anybody's job. I'm not trying to compete with anybody. It just wasn't super welcoming. And I feel like that's hopefully shifted in the last 10 years, where it's like the games industry has recognized that there doesn't just have to be one female host or one female writer, because it's like condescending. Like, that's patronizing. The US doesn't do any of that stuff. They definitely like, you can have more than one woman on staff, and they're not like, we already have a girl. You don't need another.
we have fun.
It was a thing, like legitimately, that was a thing. I know of somebody who applied to work at IGN at the same time that Jessica Chobot was. She was literally told, we already have a woman. Like,
really? We've already got one of those.
Yes.
A token woman.
I thought it was hard at the time for me to break in as a woman, because I had to like, prove myself. I feel like the interviews were 10 times longer. That's all gotten easier. And I feel like we're also kind of past the point of there only being one. The industry recognizes women as gamers at this point. So I think it's a lot easier for a lot more women to get involved. Hopefully.
I think a couple of things that you guys have touched on it's really evident the kind of culture that is around females who do want to, take their hobby into a more serious area. And the fact that, Alanah, you weren't aggressive, you were determined. And it's seen, I feel like it's seen as such a masculine thing to be determined and to show that you really want something, and to be a go-getter and to go after things that you want. So yeah, honestly, I don't want anyone to think that, you had to like step over people and like push people out of the way and sort of.
No, I didn't. I just left. I was like, I don't want anything to do with any of this. I was like, I'll leave. You can step on me. It's fine.
And that's right. And I think it has gotten better, because I think women are much better at setting boundaries than they used to. And you know what? You're right. There probably has been lot of, there can only be one kind of vibes. And I find as the media moves more into relying on content creators and influencers, I hate that word, influencers for their promotional content, there is a little bit of that gatekeeping. There is a lot of, there can only be, a couple of main people in that space. But I mean, I hope that through discussions like this, we can make that a little bit better in the community. Ellie, how have you found your journey? There can only be one. How many female writers are at WebQuest?
Growing. There's definitely a growing amount now. But I think there's always going to be a level of competitiveness, which is more than fine, because that's every single industry that there is always going to be competitiveness. But I think that the competitiveness has switched from the spectrum of I have to do it because I want to be the token woman or girl to now being, I just want to be, either the best streamer or the best writer, or I want this job because I want to work in gaming. And it's not to do with gender now. Gender's such a spectrum, whereas it doesn't matter what you identify. We can all come up and still just participate in this thing that we love, which is, technology and gaming. And it doesn't have to be, well, I want to be it because I want to be the female representative. Like, it doesn't have to be like that anymore. And it's still great to have idols because it's still not a balanced industry. There's still going to be a level of working to it. But I definitely think that it is just that shift now with everyone coming up. And we've got such a good sisterhood that women are showing each other that we don't need it. Like, we don't need to fight or to gossip about people, put people down. Like, if we have noticed we are so much stronger as a unit if we raise each other up and celebrate each other's success. Because I am a big believer that success is a door for everyone. There's a door for everyone, and it isn't just one position's filled, then what's the point? Like, there's so many different avenues you can get the career that you want, and with the support around you from people, your peers, as well as family and friends. As cliche as it is, I think anything truly is possible if you're willing to put in the work, because it is still competitive with everybody else. We're still going to have to climb for it, but it doesn't have to be against our own sisters anymore.
Yeah, that's so true. Definitely. And I think that I hope that, and because I have been in the podcasting space for a little while, obviously Alanah's been in it a lot more than I have, but all the podcasts I've been full of guys, and I wanted to create just like a nice girl vibe. I know how cliche that is and whatever, but that's what I envisioned for this show. So if you like that, stay. If you don't, that's okay. All right. Moving on to the next question. What has been the most significant achievement in your career journey so far?
For me?
Yeah.
Significant's hard. The thing that I'm the most proud of is that I was able to pay off my parents' mortgage.
Oh my God.
That's so
maybe the best day of my life.
Oh my God, Alanah, that's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, so like I said, my family doesn't have any money. It didn't come from money. And my stepdad currently has cancer, and that's awful, and it sucks, and it's a very long, terrible process because it's terminal. It's really shit. So I went home in December for as long as I could, and I've been trying to figure out like ways to help. And they're Aussie parents, so they're proud and they don't want too much help. Like, they're reluctant. So I'd been saving for a while and putting money together, and just like snuck off to the bank and got a check and gave it to them over Christmas. So that is the thing that I am like the most proud of. That is my most proud accomplishment. It was hard. It took me a long time, obviously. But now they don't have to worry about paying that bill. So that's the thing that I think I'll probably be the most proud of, like, for the rest of my life, to be honest, is anything that I can do that to help my family, especially again when I feel like I wouldn't be where I am without their help. Like I said, they were lending me money to go to flights, even though they had no money, and letting me pay them back in like weekly installments or whatever. And I just would not be where I am if I didn't have that support. And there were so many times where like I got really good grades for English all through school, and my family were like, I don't know why no one's paying you. You're being taken advantage of. This sucks. And my stepdad specifically was like, no, I understand what she's doing. Like, I get why this is happening. It's because she has to make the portfolio, has to get the experience for it to pay off. And he was like, this totally makes sense. Where everyone else was like frustrated that I wasn't making any money, and I was kind of like almost going backwards trying to get this experience. So that's the thing that I'm definitely the most proud of. Talking about significant accomplishment though, like I feel like I got to host GDC last year, and that was a pretty surreal.
Yeah.
GDC is the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco, and it's something that I had been to as a journalist. And then, it's very dev focused. It's not consumer focused, so it's not a bunch of advertising. It's much more people giving talks on how they made certain things in games and talking about innovation in video games and like the direction games are heading in. So being asked to host that was one that I was like, oh my god, this group of like people that I almost consider peers. I mean, I've been in dev for 3 years now, but it's still like, you're all so much cooler than me. And like that one was probably like a moment where I was like, oh my god. And I went from like living in San Francisco in this tiny apartment where I again had no money when I moved. It's so expensive to live there. And they gave me like this hotel room at the top of a hotel with this insane view that like I didn't have to pay for. And I was just like, what the fuck has happened? So I think that one was pretty exciting. But there's a lot of stuff that I've been really, really proud to be a part of. I'm very proud of the Accessibility Awards, which is a show that I made with a good friend of mine, Steve Spawn, which is intended to like inform more people about video game accessibility. It's really hard. Like making an award show is so hard. It's so much work. But I love Steve and I'm really passionate about accessibility. So really proud of that too. I think more than anything is like not quitting. It's probably the biggest thing. And I'm sure you all feel the same. Like it's just like, staying despite every hardship and every reason to leave. So I've just really stuck with it. And I'm proud of that, I think, more than anything. I agree with that. Question to all of you. What are you most proud of? I think that's a great thing to start with.
Ellie, you go first. What are you most proud of?
Oh, good. Yeah, it's a very deep question. I think that it would be just sticking it out. I think that I don't have one specific achievement that I'm super proud of yet. I'm quite early on in my gaming career, but I think because I've realized how much work it does actually take, and I don't want to say sacrifice, I want to say longer hours. So it's definitely a switch up in lifestyle. And I'm proud of myself that I've kind of gone through with that, because I know it's not for everybody, and I recognize that it's a time in my life where I do have those spare hours and I do have a supportive home life where my husband does allow me to kind of be like, all right, I'm eating dinner for 5 seconds and then running away and hiding in my study for 3 hours streaming. And so I've got this time in my life, this chapter, that I can put forward the hours and I can reach out to people and kind of do what I want to do within the way of building my portfolio for hopefully a future in gaming in the next few years. And that to me, I think it's just personal growth, and I'm very proud that I've done it, because there were times where I'm like, you know what, I can't do it anymore. I can't come home from a 10-hour work shift, traveling 2 hours both ways, come home, eat dinner, and then go and talk to a screen where 2 people are joining my stream tonight. It can be quite disheartening, but pushing through for those tough moments, make it worth it for the great days where you are streaming to someone, to a whole group of people, like 50 to 100 people, it makes it worth it. And so seeing those little rewards come through, and even this podcast to me is a reward. Like I've worked hard in the online gaming space to be able to participate in something like this, and it is really fun, at the top of my list more than anything. And then also it's rewarding. So I would say that's what I'm most proud of.
Awesome. What about you, Liessshy?
Well, my journey definitely has been pretty bumpy along the years. I think it's going to relate back to the not quitting thing. So, the 8 years I've been doing this, I've had a lot of times where some pretty significant stuff in my personal life has, I guess, affected my focus on my career online. And I've really had to balance that. And the fact that I haven't given up all this time and I'm still pushing every day to make something, like for me, that is probably my biggest achievement. But if we are going to go something tangible that I have done, I think for me it is working as closely as I do with JBL. Like if you follow my content, you know how close I am with them, and to be, a leading female in their gaming range of products is pretty special for me, and the work that I do with them is something that I really cherish because I do get to be myself and bring forth a lot of creativity in ways that that brand might not have seen before. And to be recognized globally with them as well is pretty special as a part of the Quantum Squad. And, you know, all the educational style content that I put out from what I've done with them has helped me with other brands and creating a new path of content and style that I do want to put out there for people to hopefully inspire in different ways that, you know, a lot of people in this space might not be doing. Because once I tried to stream and that didn't go to plan for me because, again, some pretty significant things in my life changed. So I decided to focus on all my my YouTube videos and my reviews. And I really want to be like someone. For me, I look up a lot to iJustine in the tech space because she is someone that has been in the space for so long and she is never afraid to speak her truth and show her creativity as a female in the tech world. And that is like something that I want to get to one day. So constantly pushing through and pushing aside all the hate that will come my way and keeping my core focus on my goal. Like, that's the biggest thing for me, that I get out of bed every day for this, you know, like I still want to do this and keep this my dream, keep my dream alive. So tying all that in together, I mean, you know, I've had a pretty long time online and I'm really happy for where I am and I look forward to seeing where it continues to go.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely, honestly, the amount of resilience that you all have shown throughout your journeys is honestly, it's so inspiring. And I love hearing that. You know why? Because I don't think anyone's journey is perfect. And I think it's really easy to assume that someone's, you know, curated feed or, you know, seeing them travel here, there, and not knowing what their home life is like or, you know, how much money they have in the bank or, you know, anything like that. Like, especially in the early days, especially when you aren't as established, it can take a decade to really see the fruits of your labor in this space. So, and I think it's more important to share those stories and celebrate those wins because that's what's going to help you and keep you alive on that journey. You know what I mean? Like, I personally, I always thought that I was alone. I felt alone a lot in my life, and I think for me, my biggest achievement is actually putting this show on today. I would dare say.
Yay.
I can tell you right now, anyone who has created an online show for people, whether you're a streamer, a podcaster, just making YouTube videos, the amount of time that I've had to put into this and energy and the thoughts and the dreams and all of that has been immense. But you know what? I'm very happy with how it's turned out, and I'm very happy
You're doing it. Yeah.
And I did it. I did a thing. I did.
And we thank you for it.
Absolutely.
No, and you know what? I want this to mean something to everyone. And yes, we are a female-focused podcast, but you know what? Showing that our journeys aren't linear and all the behind the scenes stuff, and not everything is perfect, not everything's always has to be curated, and I feel like we see a lot of that, but we don't see a lot of the real. So I hope that we can see more of that. Okay, I have 3 other questions for you, Alanah.
Do you want me to answer them faster?
No. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
No, and I actually really like that you've asked us back the questions because we all can speak.
Oh yeah, like you said, everyone's journey is interesting for sure.
Exactly, and you know it's our first episode. So we might as well. How have you dealt with negative experiences throughout your career?
Wow.
Is that as simple as just the block button?
No, because the block button doesn't work. That one doesn't work at all. You can't use the block button. You just have to ignore it. Don't even recommend the block button. I have had many online and in person, like very negative experiences. And obviously, like overwhelmingly, my career is really positive. I'm super happy, you know, with where I am. Like I said, I wouldn't be here otherwise. The biggest thing I think where content creation is concerned is I just try not to spend too much time on it. Like, I know that sounds easier said than done, but it's like I'll go in and I'll tweet something and then I'll look at things and then I won't look at it again for the rest of the day. I have a no social media on weekends policy. Like, unless I have to post something for like something that's sponsored, I just will not read anything. And that I think really helps a lot is like, I know people who like search their own names. I would rather die. Like, there's no way I'm ever doing any of that. Like, just kind of like create a barrier between you and internet comments where you can. So I'm just like very careful about like protecting myself basically and making sure that I exist as a human in the real world and not just a human on the internet. Make sure I, take the dog for a walk twice a day. It makes a difference rather than just like sitting inside. Treat yourself like a plant. Yeah, we need sun, we need water, we need to be outside. So I try to be really careful about that kind of thing. And I think that that's helped me a ton. Otherwise, I think networks really help. And a lot of that is networks of other women that I'm friends with that I can talk to about this stuff, that are going through the same things or have been through the same things, that you can just like make fun of the stupid stuff with. Because I know sometimes if I tell somebody something who like doesn't do anything in content creation, they're usually so shocked by something that I would consider to be very minor that it's always a reminder of like, you do have to build up these walls and become very desensitized. Like I said something to somebody last week and they were like, oh my God. And she almost started crying. And I was like, oh, no, it's fine. Like, it's not a problem.
Oh, wow.
But you just talk to like the people inside of your network and rely on those people and you support them and they support you. And I think like other women in the industry are the best people to talk to about, things that I deal with. So
Totally.
not being afraid to ask for help. Don't be chronically online.
Yeah.
And otherwise, the thing that I think keeps me going is that I've always stayed true to myself. So I've never done anything that, obviously people change. I've been online for so long. I don't know if I agree with something I said 12 years ago, but I've only ever said something I genuinely believe or like genuinely feel. And I think that really helps. Like, I'll only make content I want to make. I won't make something because I should or because other people are doing it. Because I think that's how you kind of get burnt out. You try to like fill in too many boxes or be like, oh, I have to chase this trend. I really feel like people who try to do that often don't last very long. You just have to have fun and be yourself and like be genuine and care about the things that you care about and don't pretend to care about everything. Because not only will people see it, you won't enjoy it. So a big thing is just like finding the fun in every little thing that you do. I find really dumb ways to find video editing fun, which can take me forever, but like just adding little jokes, even if it's on the screen for one frame, because it entertained me.
Yeah. I'm like that too.
It's great. So I think that those are the biggest things. Like, don't like literally touch grass. Like, don't be online too much. Rely on your support network and support them back. It's super fulfilling and rewarding, and it's wonderful to be able to support other people and have support from those people. And make sure that you enjoy the content you're making rather than chasing views. Just be true to yourself, I think, as cheesy as that is.
No, you've hit the nail on the head on so many levels there, and I think it can be quite consuming when you make content, especially online, because you forget that you're a human, you forget that you have basic human needs, and this goes beyond. This goes beyond, just getting sun or whatever like that. Like, exposing ourselves to negative things all the time is going to have a massive impact on our mental health. So, that's something that. And also not meeting our needs like water, sun, food, all that kind of stuff is going to have an impact on our mental health as well.
Like, seriously, go to the gym. Like, I know that like
100%.
That's the thing that's like makes so much sense, but it's so good for your mental health.
Yeah,
and
just wait so for a walk, guys.
Yeah, I just scream at gamers all the time about getting fit. And like, I know that you want to sit on the couch and play video games. So do I. Just half an hour a day. Like, if you have time to watch this podcast, you could be working out during. I currently like weightlift while watching episodes of The Sopranos.
Yes.
Like, look after
a walk pad. I really want to get a walk pad for under my
me
bed.
too.
I actually just have one. It's in my hallway. I just haven't set it up yet.
That's the thing.
Like
procrastination.
Amazing.
That is a problem. Yes. But
honestly,
it's so good for you.
Yes, I think we can all be guilty of, maybe not doing that as much as we want to because of, various things that happen in our life. Mine's mostly because I work a lot. But yeah, definitely when I find myself inside a lot, it definitely has issues, not only because I'm not moving as much, but all the other stuff. Hate online, yeah, it's not good. I actually heard that Pokimane doesn't mod. She doesn't look at any of the stuff. She has like mods that do it for her. Is that right? I don't know.
No idea. I mean, I don't look at messages on most things. Like my Twitter, I can't see any. I have all mentions turned off from anyone I don't follow, so I just don't see any of it. I'll find out that people are harassing me because one time Phil Spencer sent me a message. He was like, "I'm really sorry about this harassment," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" It's not. And that's how I find out being mob harassed most of the time is that someone else is like, "Are you okay?" And I'd be like, "Should I not be okay?" I don't even know it exists.
Right.
I don't read Instagram.
Well, there you go.
You don't have to. I do think a lot of online harassment is opt-in. You can just ignore it. Some of those
put
people
that on a shirt. Online harassment.
Some of the people who will come at you will also they don't actually want a conversation. They just want a response. And sometimes I will respond because I find it funny or fun, or if I'm entertained by something especially stupid, I will engage with it. But that's only when I think I need to, rather than when they want me to.
Yeah.
And that's part of it too. Is I don't like the ignore the trolls mentality, and I never have, because like you said, I don't think humans are supposed to be exposed to this much negativity. So if you every now and then want to reply to somebody and call them a fucking idiot, I think that if that will make you feel better, do it. You don't need to ignore the trolls if you don't want to. Certainly you're going to go crazy if you engage with people constantly. That's definitely a bad idea. But I don't think ignoring the trolls, stops them, makes them go away. It doesn't do anything at all. They'll still be there, retweeting each other apparently, or they'll quote tweet everything you say. That happens to me all the time, and I'm just if I want to call someone stupid sometimes, I'm gonna do that, and I think it helps. And then you just laugh at them, and it's great. That's all it is. Every now and then
it's just free promo for you, really.
I mean, kind of. It's more than anything. It's peace of mind. Every now and then you just need to tell someone they're being a dummy. And I feel positively about it. Don't ignore the trolls if you don't want to. If you do, go ahead. But most people who say that don't experience a lot of trolling, and I don't think know what it's like to sit back and take all of it all the time.
So true.
Yeah,
such a
definitely.
Good point.
On a more positive note, who inspires you the most, Alanah?
My mom. Also very cheesy. Very inspired by my mom. In the industry, there are a lot of people that I'm very inspired by, and it's part of why I made one of the podcasts that I made, which is Video Game Writing 101. I just talk to a different video game writer every month, or a group of video game writers every month, just mostly because I want to ask them questions, and I was like, well, I may as well record it. I'm very inspired by Tim Schafer. His style of creation, I think, is fantastic, and I love Tim. Obviously, I get to work with Corey Barlog, who I think is an inspiration in terms of the way he executes vision. He's a wonderful leader, as a weird thing to say as that is, because he's still a creative. There are people like Kojima that are just doing crazy stuff, doing really whatever they want to, which I obviously really admire. I've said before that I think Amy Hennig is probably my biggest inspiration, and I'd love to sit down and have coffee with her sometime. Huge fan of all of her work, and want to know how she pulled off anything that she did so badly. So yeah, there's a very long list of people that I'm inspired by, but really the thing that inspires me in video games more than anything is video games. I'll play something and I'll be like, oh my god, that's so cool, what the hell is this? And then go on a deep dive to see if NoClip made a doc on how they made it or whatever. So I think just the people and the creativity of the industry, and the creativity that video games allow that other mediums can't quite allow, because obviously you have player agency, and you have to consider the fact that players have more empathy inherently than someone passively watching a film or TV show does. I'm very, very inspired by video games and the growth of video games, and the fact that the industry is basically still in its infancy. We can't even comprehend the stuff that we'll be able to do in 20 years as hardware improves. We're still really, in a lot of cases, trying to tell stories the same way movies do, and there are tons of outliers for games that take different approaches, especially in the indie space. But I think just the creativity that comes from the industry is like endlessly inspiring. Like every year there's something that I'm like, this is the best game I've ever played. Oh my God. But it keeps happening over and over and over again, which is, how can you not be inspired?
No, that's such a valid point. I mean, it's the reason why we're all here, right?
For sure.
Video games.
For sure.
Exactly.
Doing good stuff.
I think the thing that inspires me the most, and it's probably a little bit, I don't know if this is narcissistic or not, but myself, I personally have been through some like pretty intense life situations, and every time I had to pull myself up from a really like dark place or a cesspool of negativity within myself, I get out a photo of myself as a child. And I think to myself, I'm like, how would I treat that child? What would I say to her? And how would I want her to feel in herself? And it's like I dig it deep down into myself and I pull it out. And this morning,
That's awesome.
I was thank you.
Beautiful.
I people know I have 2 daughters myself. They inspire me as well. But this morning I woke up and I was like, your previous self would be so proud of you. She really would be. Like, look at you go. So yeah, probably myself. And like,
that's
I don't know,
totally valid. I don't think that's narcissistic at all. Like, if you can't find inspiration in your own growth, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah,
you kind of
for
have
sure.
to be motivated by
Yeah.
yourself, for sure.
And I think that the reason why I put myself out so much in this space was because I didn't feel, and I think we all like to see ourselves out and about. And I didn't feel like I saw people or someone like me. So I was like, hey, just go for it. Why not? Liessshy,
I feel like
you already
that's the case for many people, actually, because just touching on that was how I felt when I started all those years ago as well. I had friends that didn't like games, and I always felt like I was the only girl in my life that liked what I liked. So that's why I started to do what I did. So it's really cool to hear you say that, because I think a lot of us have started from that position as well.
I think
Yeah, for sure.
self-celebration is always looked down on a lot of the time as being narcissistic or being, up
Yeah.
yourself, when realistically we need to celebrate ourselves and our achievements a little bit more. And I think we would be a little bit more confident and happier within ourselves, really. The old pat on the back, that old chestnut, I think it goes a long way. It goes a long way.
It's also like,
Yeah.
if you need external validation, that seems worse to me. Like, if you're only rating what you've done based on external input and you need validation from other people all the time, you're going to drive yourself insane. Like, I feel like being able to self-validate is super important for you, especially if you're being challenged or going through something difficult. Like, you have to believe in yourself. It's kind of the only option.
At the end of the day, who do you have at the end of the day? You.
Correct.
You need to value that person. You need to talk nicely to yourself, and you need to go for walks and drink water. Okay, this is what we've learned today.
That's what I'm saying.
And last question: what advice do you have for anyone wanting to get into the games industry?
Start now. However you can, make something. Like, when I started, I wasn't thinking about how. I was just, here's a bunch of things I want to be able to do. Let me figure out how to do them and just do them. Even if they aren't good to start with. My first videos are terrible, really badly edited. My first streams are a mess. They're still a mess. I still don't even really know how to do tech on streams very well. You just have to start. And I think most people will be like, oh, I wish I'd started sooner. And like, I started doing this stuff when I was 17. And I think that's the only reason that I'm not like, I wish I'd started sooner. So even if you're starting with no audience and you have no knowledge, there's so much information available online to help you. There are so many people who can tell you how to set up a stream or start writing a news article, go to school. Just whatever you do, start making the thing that you want to make, and don't start it with the intention of like having a game plan of getting an audience. Start it with figuring out how you do it and how you like it and what you like to do. I think that's the biggest thing, is like, don't hold yourself back or hesitate. Just start doing it and don't stop doing it. And I know that seems like a really cop-out answer, but it's the most consistent thing. Someone's like, but I don't know where to start. I'm like, yes, you do. Just open up a Word doc. You will figure it out. You just gotta start figuring it out, and don't give yourself I'll wait till tomorrow. Oh, I'll wait till the first of the month, because people do that all the time. You just push. Start tomorrow, and then you'll be amazed how far you are in 2 months' time. And I think that a lot with like a lot of things that I'm procrastinating or putting off, or creative things that I want to do. I'm like, oh, but I have to start. But then I always am like, think about where I'll be in 2 months. If I can just do this for 2 months, this thing will be done. And this thing will be a new skill that I will have learned, or whatever. So yeah, definitely just get started today, and then you can figure out the game plan. Don't weigh yourself out with the game plan and then delay starting.
Oh, that was a bit like that Twitter post I put out, and I was like, "Hi, does anyone want to be on a podcast?"
Me, you are.
I did it. Yay! No, when I put that out, I didn't know how to stream on YouTube. I didn't know how to use this software that we're using. I didn't know a lot about like scheduling things, and I'd never like stuck to anything like really super duper consistent before in regards to a big project like this. Like it's always been like one-off stuff, like maybe for a week or like a month, like see where we're at the end of the month. It's really been sporadic for me, so I had a deadline. I'd never worked to such a big meaningful deadline before, but I was like, you know what, Rhiannon, because that's my name, Rhiannon, if you don't do it now, you'll never do it. You will never do it. So, and the hardest step, you're totally right, is the first one. Yeah. So, and I have come out of this with more skills than I started with. And to me, for my own personal growth, I'm going to pat myself on the back, that old chestnut, Ellie. And I'm going to say, yes, I did something, and look at me go. I've got bloody Alanah Pearce here, guys. Look at this. Look at this. Look what I did.
Well, it's just because of a tweet. It's true. It was like, I can't do this consistently, obviously, but I'm happy to help.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you being here is just the best. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
Can I just add a little bit more to what we were just talking about? Sorry, as well. The best camera is the camera in your pocket as well, guys. If you're worried about starting with all this fancy equipment, it does not have to be that way. If you have a decent audio and a decent camera, you can make anything. And if you have the latest iPhone, you have such a powerful device in your pocket. Me, I use Google Pixels. These are great too. But you have to just try. And we are so lucky that we live in a world of tech and the internet now, where everything is accessible to us. If you want to learn something without having to go to university, like I did, all I did was sit on the computer for hours and hours and studied. That's what I did 8 years ago. And everything's always evolving and changing, right? So you just have to be committed to yourself and understand that if this is what you want to do, it does take time, but you have access to every resource at your hand, and most of it is free or something you already own. So don't hold back. There is this industry, there's a space for everybody. You can bring something different. You can bring something the same. It doesn't matter what. Just do it. Like Shia LaBeouf, just do it.
He was right. He had a good point.
It was right.
You're so right. I mean, obviously things are a bit difficult, like in regards to internet wise, but I haven't had the best stuff like for ages, and even now, like I've only had. Like this looks cool now, but I had a potato camera before. I can tell you right now, it was not the greatest. And I was like, you know what? I'll just do it. And then I was just like, oh, maybe I can use some of the contacts I've used in the past.
Doesn't matter
like,
that much. My camera quality is not good. My lighting setup is really bad, and I use
but you are amazing, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The point is, it doesn't. People do care a lot about audio quality. This is actually an Elgato mic that I use. Your camera, people don't really care.
Correct.
Like it doesn't really matter that much. They do care about audio and will tune out if the audio is bad, but there are so many good cheap options now. Like Liessshy was just saying, I love there's a Rode microphone plugin that you can plug into the bottom of your phone that is a wireless mic. It's like fantastic, and I think it's like a couple $100 maybe. And it works so well on the go. You can do it anywhere. It's really, really good, like a wireless receiver that just sits on your chest. It's fantastic. There are so many options for that. And it doesn't have to all look good. I was making content out of a kitchen when I first moved to LA because I lived in a studio apartment and I didn't have room to put my desk anywhere else. Like, people are happy to be there and don't tend to care about top quality products
100%.
unless you're like making a TV show, which you're probably not.
Yeah.
We're not trying to sell you a AAA game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When people aren't going to really care. They just want to see you, and the more you put yourself out there, your passion, all that kind of stuff, it will show, and things will improve, and you'll get better with time. But yeah, it's all about that perseverance and staying true to yourself, and watering yourself.
Totally.
Exactly.
Okay, speaking of games, what has everyone been playing recently, and what have they been loving? Ellie, why don't you go first?
So, to begin with, I was slow to the game, but God of War, because I got a PlayStation 5 finally, and it came with God of War Ragnarok. And I was like, well, I haven't played God of War. I'll jump onto that. So I was playing that for a little bit, but I also wanted to try out Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life. So I've been playing that as well, which only just come out a few days ago. And I don't normally reach for cozy games, but the need in me to succeed on this little farm, I tell ya, is immense. I'm getting watermelon seeds from this villager, and I just rage play, which I think is the total opposite of what cozy games are supposed to be. But my farm is going to be the best farm in all of Forgotten Valley. Like, we're going for it. And so I truly played it like a little rage gamer that I am, but that's what I've been really enjoying. So Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life, double thumbs up.
Ellie, the rage gamer. I didn't think I'd see it. My goodness.
I'm predominantly a horror gamer, and so the jump scares, I jump and then I get angry. I'm like, oh, I should have seen that coming. So I think it's just bred into me as a gamer, is a bit of a rager, and that I didn't think it would, but it definitely transfers over to cozy games. So nothing is sacred and safe, apparently, in my gaming career.
Oh my goodness. Alanah, what have you been loving and playing? I did see you stream Diablo 4.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Diablo 4. Today I just, before the podcast, played Power Wash Simulator for a couple of hours.
So good.
I'm a big fan of that. Yeah, whenever I need
Uh-huh.
to think about something, I sit down and play Power Wash Simulator like I'm meditating. I'm like, I need to think about this for a while. So I just sit there and I play it. I feel like right now I'm actually a little overwhelmed with the amount of games. Tears of the Kingdom, obviously, I've started and then stopped when I travel and planning to get back to. Still playing through Resident Evil 4. I really want to try the game everyone's streaming. I think it's called Only Up.
Yes.
That I haven't tried yet. That I'm like, maybe I will this weekend. I feel like I'm like mad overwhelmed with video games right now. Like, there are too many. I mean, I just got like a lot of Crash Team Rumble that I ended up playing. I think maybe like, I think I've played like 15 hours since launch now for some reason. Like, it's just, and I'm like there's just so many games. Currently kind of overwhelmed.
I've said this so many times on so many podcasts. We are eating as gamers. Please don't tell me there's nothing to play. Please don't get mad about a delay. Mm-hmm. There is so much to play. Yeah, Final Fantasy 16. Like it, love it. Who cares? If you don't like it, go find something else to play. Honestly, yeah, we are so indulged with games. It's amazing. So yeah, and that's why I love to hear about. I want to hear about the little games too. I want to hear about the big games. What about you, Liessshy? What's been on your box?
I too have been playing a lot of Crash Team Rumble. I am a massive Crash Bandicoot fan. Like, I've got Aku tattooed on my leg. Like, yeah, it's
oh really?
Pretty heavy
I
for
didn't
me.
know that.
I do. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of that, and I'm just one trophy off the platinum, which I need to max out a level.
I don't have all of the ones for like getting the certain things with each character. I have everything other than, how there's like, get this with this hero.
Yeah.
I'm missing like half of those. Some of them are really
I got a lot of them by fluke.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'll sit down, I'll try and do it, but then it just kind of happens. So I got pretty lucky, and I managed to get all of them done within an hour. So yeah.
I'm guessing the one that you don't have is a maximum level for a character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because that's supposed to take like
15.
a long time.
Yeah,
it is 15.
Yeah, I've
But
been
getting
paying
from
as
14 to
Crash.
15 is supposed to take hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, so I'm
a
not
lot.
prepared to do it right now because the game does
It's a great game.
frustrate me.
Great game.
As good as it is, but yeah, it's some people are just. I'll talk about that another time. The game has.
Yeah, I could go off about
things that need to
Crashing
be
Rumble
worked
for a
on.
whole extra
Yeah.
podcast. Why are we all scorers? Why do you
think
pick the
it's
same class?
so OP?
I think people are
Yeah.
forgetting the team part of the game title,
Oh,
perhaps.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But I've
The
also been
Overwatch
playing Zelda
problem.
too. I was like 80 hours in and I'm like, yeah, okay, I need to finish the main story because I'm addicted and I just want to get that out of the way so I can continue exploring. So I finished that recently, but I will go back in and finish off all the side quests and stuff. Final Fantasy 16 is one I actually want to pick up, but I've just been so busy lately that I haven't done it yet because I know if I sit down, I need to put a few hours into it to actually get into it and enjoy it a bit. But it's also a series that I've never really played much of. So I think I like the open world aspect to it. And I'm keen to give that a go, hopefully, for the next couple of weeks.
Oh, Final Fantasy looks beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Although, yeah, I haven't really jumped into that franchise that much because I was really poor growing up. So I could only play like a handful of games. Anyway, what have I been playing? I talk about World of Warcraft a little bit because, you know, on Xbox Infinite, that none of them play any PC games, like none of them. So I keep forgetting that because my mic arm used to be up here, and because I'm moving my hand, I am now hitting that. That's the new thing that I've realized I do. Fantastic. So yeah, World of Warcraft, there's a new patch coming out. There's a Whelpling Daycare quest line. I'm very excited for that. Alex Straza is the Lifebringer mother of dragons, also very good looking. She is mother. So yeah, I'll definitely be making her proud in my Whelpling Daycare in World of Warcraft. Also, finally, they are adding a sell all junk button. So you have bags, right?
Nice.
And they're great. There are great items. And for the 13 years that I've played this game, I can finally sell all my junk.
Amazing.
In one
They
go.
only just did that?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes. So
Wow.
definitely looking forward to that. I've been playing a bit of Forza because obviously the Barbie the movie, little collaboration with them. Very obsessed, riding around in my electric vehicles. I was shocked that I didn't automatically think that they would be electric because, you know, Barbie, plastic, fake, not real, no fuel, no engine. Electric. Anyway, so yeah, that was kind of like a mind blown moment for me. And what else? Diablo 4 has its claws into me. I'm taking my time. I'm taking my time with that game, but it is a lot of fun. Yeah, like there's just so much. I don't know if any of you guys, caught any of the Summer Games Fest. There was that thing on. I don't know if you guys watched it. You might have. I don't know. Was there anything that was there anything that stood out to anybody? What are you looking forward to, Alanah? What are you looking forward to?
I mean, Starfield was a standout for me, but it obviously has a huge advantage because it was like a whole hour-long presentation, so it got a lot of attention. But I think Starfield looks amazing. I'm so excited to play it. I did get to go hands-on with a few games here in LA for Summer Game Fest Play Days, they call it. So I did get to see Armored Core behind the scenes.
Awesome.
And yeah, it looks great. I'm a huge Armored Core fan. I've been playing since Armored Core 2. It's definitely Armored Core. I think that's like a really important note about that one is most people who have now played Elden Ring, because obviously that's FromSoft's most successful game, I think are looking at it very closely. And I do want to note, while it has had massive quality of life improvements from previous games in the series, which is important because those games are janky, it's still a mech action game. Like, it's still that genre. It's not a Soulsborne. So there will be a lot of people who obviously are looking at FromSoft that I think still won't like this if they don't like that genre, because it is still that. But I'm a big fan. Very excited about it. I also got to play Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, which is incredible. I think they did such a good job. It's like massively underrated, but I have always loved Cyberpunk. I don't feel like the right person to speak about it because I'm like, I loved it from the start. I always fucking loved it. But it's got like upgrades that they haven't even really spoken about. Like there are upgrades to AI, and there are upgrades to the police system. They've done a ton of work on it outside of just the story upgrades, which seem really cool too. What else did I play? Mortal Kombat 1, which is just as cool as you would think it would be. I also saw Alan Wake 2, which is probably another one of the games that I'm most excited about. Which, yeah, it's definitely more survival horror, more Resident Evil by a mile than Alan Wake 1 was. And it's really cool. They've done a really good job of like taking things they learned from Control and putting them into Alan Wake. So yeah, my highlights I think were probably Starfield and Alan Wake 2. Very hyped about Final Fantasy as well. What is it? Remake. It's now Reboot, I think, that they're calling Part 2. I don't remember. Final Fantasy 7 Part 2. Excited about that as well. There was a bunch of other stuff that I was like interested in, but we don't have enough info about. Like I'm a big Fable person, but I didn't really get anything from that trailer that like made me more or less excited. Richard Iowati is very exciting, but we didn't really get any gameplay, so I don't necessarily like know anything more about that now. But yeah,
I think people are left.
The big one.
Well, yes, but like you said, it did get a lot of screen time, so that does help. Lots of information. But yeah, Fable. I think it's left like people have still got a lot of questions around that still. So hopefully that will be answered hopefully soon. But we'll definitely see. Ellie, what were some of your standouts from the latest announcements that have happened about games?
I'm the same as Alanah, Alan Wake. That to me, as soon as I saw it, I was like, yep, I'm getting this. I'm streaming this. Like that is just right up my alley. It's just creepy and scary and like, yeah. And I haven't played the first one, so I'm not really sure on the world itself. And sometimes it is really fun just jumping into the second installment of things and figuring out as you go. Like I might even pop in the first one, but I think I'm just gonna dive right into the second and just give it a go, because as soon as I saw it, I was like, yep, that's for me. I did also like Starfield, but it's almost too big for me. It was
really
it's a bit too, yeah, I'm not a big open world fan because I'm such a collectible person. That's why I love Resident Evil, because the map turns green or gray when you explore a total room, and I'm not stuck there like searching and searching thinking I think I've left something behind. That's what I love about Resident Evil. Whoever thought of that, 17 cookies. Like it just
only 17.
It works in my brain so well that I'm like, yep, I've searched this room. I can leave to the next red area. And so I really like the idea of Starfield because it's space, and I love space. But as soon as I saw I kept going and going and going, I was like, oh, I don't know. This is a bit overwhelming for me. So
I definitely get that. I'm not a huge fan of like the amount of planets they keep focusing on, but I was like, well, I don't have to do all that. But I get that like some people's brains, like I understand that because my boyfriend is 100% like that. He's like, I have to do all of it though.
Yeah.
Like, he's currently
brain
playing,
says go.
Yeah, he's playing Jedi Survivor right now. And he's like, I'm going to platinum it. And I'm like, haven't you been complaining about the performance this whole time? He's like, I don't care if you platinum it. Like, okay, like if you want, like you don't have to. And he's like, but I do. Like, okay. So
sometimes the love
is
so great.
I like about yeah, I think the thing about Starfield is it seems like you can really just like I've never liked flying ships in space and dogfighting. I've never liked space combat in any game. It's not a thing that appeals to me. And then they were like, and you can dock and you can take the ship from the inside. And I was like, I will be doing that. I will not be doing it the other way. As long as you can like shut your brain off from the amount of content. I think that the thing that appeals to me about Starfield is there seems to be something for everybody. But if you can't shut your brain off to that content, which you maybe can't if you're yelling at strawberries, it may be not the game for you. And you should never play MMOs.
Yeah, totally.
I get it.
And Spider-Man as well, that kind of is really fun to complete as well, because it has the sections of New York, and then it tells you how many % of that or section, state, whatever that you've done. Fantastic. I love that because I can complete the main story and then go and do all the little side questy things and then finish it. So I'm super excited for Spider-Man 2. It looks amazing.
Awesome. Yeah, no, lots of Spider-Man fans out there. I was a little bit I didn't feel quite very good good English. I didn't feel like the collector's edition is worth the price for what you get, comparing it to other collector's editions. But that is potentially because it has the Marvel label on it. That's why it's so expensive. But yeah, like
how much is it in Australia?
I think it's like $500.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fair amount of money.
Because
That's
that
a
comes
joke.
with a
Yeah.
little statue as
But
well, doesn't it?
Yeah, you get
Yeah.
the statue and the steelbook.
Mm.
I don't even think there was like an art book or anything like that.
Yeah, because I guess
Just-
Final Fantasy, I'm assuming that their statue is a little higher quality. I don't think it's made of plastic, but I'm not sure if that's true. But like, I guess Final Fantasy 16, I think was like $350 US. Oh, that would be about the same then. Wouldn't that be about 500?
Yeah,
I think
Roughly,
so.
yeah.
And that was a statue, a steelbook, and a map. I think.
okay. But
It
then
also
the
wasn't very much.
but the Diablo collector's edition, that was 180 Australian.
It's so good.
It's
so
so
good.
nice.
The Diablo collector's edition, but it's, oh my god, like it has like all of these, like, do you have it? Have you opened it? Have you touched it? You do have
It's
it.
there. It's there.
The art book has this like
art!
sheen on it. And I
It's
was
so
like,
nice.
the box is beautiful. Like, I was like, this is like maybe one of the best collector's editions I've ever seen. It's so well put together. It's absolutely beautiful. It's nuts.
It's
Oh, you're right,
so
Jeff. Thank you. There was
nice.
also some pins in the Final Fantasy 16 one, but the quality of the statue is not great.
Okay.
It's
I
nice.
see. I haven't seen that in person. But yeah, like I don't know. I don't know. How do you guys feel about collector's editions? Are you like do you vibe with them, or like some people
I love
to
collector's
get them?
editions. But it's
How
going to
many
be
do you
something for
have?
that. Well, in a past life, I had a lot. But they got taken away when I moved on from that past life. So I don't even know what I've got anymore, but I do definitely try to tone it down only on games that I really care about, just from the space factor.
Same.
Like, I don't have a lot of space to display them anymore. But I do love that, you know, you get something cool with a game sometimes. Like, some of the statues are just brilliant, and other times they're not that great. Like, I'm pretty bummed out that the Zelda collector's edition was what it was. I don't think like it was worth $190 for
Oh, you didn't rate
what
it.
was
Okay.
in there. I like it, but I just don't think, like, compared to the Breath of the Wild collector's edition that had the Master Sword statue, I think it was a little bit of a letdown. So I can go either way, but yeah, I think it's nice that there's options for people to, if they want to spend a little bit more and get something cool to display. Like, I'm definitely all for collector's editions.
I generally won't do it anymore. The ones that I have, the ones that I've been talking about here, are all for giveaways. So I'll get them and then give them away to try to raise money for charity is the goal. Like, they're for charity incentives.
That's really cool.
But I, same thing, don't have any room anymore.
Yeah.
And when you move, I had so many, and I still have some in Australia. Like, they're still in my parents' house at home. That I have all of these that I just like feasibly can't move. Like, it's just too many. And I also think that a lot of them actually are ripoffs. I think a lot of them are really poor quality. Like, I love statues and collectibles. I mean, I could show you how many I have right next to me.
You have a few, I think.
I've got quite a few, but this is a really easy thing to show. So the ones that I have are like very high quality statues, and most of them for video games, just like they're usually really cheap and plasticky and just like not worth it. Let's see if I move my camera this way. Oh, wait, yeah.
Oh, cool. Oh,
that's cool.
Wow.
Sweet Batman stuff over here. My light. Yeah.
Oh,
It's like a lot. And these are all
amazing.
like, they're all like polystone, like fully like handmade, hand painted, you know? And there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Love that little tumbler down the bottom there. So sick. So I think like a lot of the collector's editions ones are just like they're usually kind of bad. And it's a lot of the same stuff. And yeah, it's not, but like this here is these two God of War statues made by XM Studios, I think. And they're like beautiful, super high quality, like polystone statues. So it's like a different thing. I feel like most collector's editions, while I still love them and it's like so fun to open that stuff, hard to justify having that much plastic. And I generally think they're not worth the price, to be honest. I think most of them are a little
the price point's the hardest thing most of the time, isn't it? Like,
especially
I think that's why. Oh, 100%. Like, I don't buy as much as what I I guess I used to.
In high
because it
school, I
just
was
can't justify.
like saving all my money for collector's editions, and now I'm like, I got bills, man.
Yeah. Priorities.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, like the price to import that kind of stuff, especially to Australia, is nuts. Like, you know, already our games are more expensive.
Yeah.
So yeah, and now they're taking games out of collector's editions. And that's
Yeah.
really
That's a
surprising
whole other
to me.
issue.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. That's why I've always been frugal like this. I'll only ever buy a collector's edition if I love it. But I have found that most collector's editions from Blizzard are usually pretty generous for the price point. So
yeah.
and
What I do now is I
good
don't buy the
quality.
collector's editions. Oh, sorry. I don't buy collector's editions. I buy the individual item I want on eBay, and it's usually cheaper. So
That's
yeah,
I think there was a
okay.
Red Dead
Same.
2 collector's edition that came with a bunch of stuff, and I didn't buy it. I just really wanted the book. There's like a book that's like it's basically the in-store like manual of when you go in the stores and you like flip through the guns or whatever of all the stuff you can buy. I'm forgetting the name.
Okay.
Catalog. It's a catalog. And so I just bought that because I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
But I don't need all the other stuff. So that's what I do now. And usually if you wait like a year, that stuff will go down in price because most people don't want it. So I just wait, buy the individual items where I can these days. It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, okay. We've sort of moved into a different kind of feel, but oh, honey. Little
He's having
baby.
sleep terrors, bless him.
Oh, so cute. Yeah, I mean, like the Starfield Collector's box is like there's a watch and it's gonna like talk to the game. So I'm just like, I don't know. I think I need it. I think I need it. Oh yeah,
such a
mine's
nice controller.
Hold on,
They are really nice, huh?
Yeah.
The grips on it.
I've got
is
the
so
headset
nice.
here.
Yeah,
So
the headset,
pretty.
Does yours make a noise when you turn it on?
Yes.
What is the noise?
It's a spaceship taking off.
Is it? Because when I turned it on, I was like, I can't tell you what the fuck this noise. Sorry if I'm allowed to swear,
I think
by the
it
way.
is. Hold
I
on.
can't tell you what this noise
Hold on.
is.
Can I play it? I don't know if I can. I don't know, but hold on. You can't hear it.
No, that would be
Yeah,
cool
it's a
though.
plane. That would be cool, wouldn't it? I don't think my noise gate isn't good enough. But no, I think pretty sure it's a spaceship taking off,
That does make
or like an
sense.
engine turning on, or
Yeah,
something
okay.
like that. So I don't know.
makes
I like
sense.
it. But then, what about the mute button? What's that noise?
what
It's like
is
a tick noise.
That actually might be what I'm referring to. Is maybe that's the mute button. There's one of them that like
So
this button here that makes the noise. This one here.
the gold one, or the one on the grey one?
This is like the weirdest, like most specific podcast content where we're like, which button makes what noise? It's like a little like it goes. Da-da-da-da-da.
Yes,
That's what
I
it
don't
sounds
know what
like.
it is.
That's the one I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
And it just
the
keeps
mute
going.
button. Hold on, can I Google?
Forever.
I can probably Google it.
Yeah, we can probably
What
find out. There's
is
probably
the
means to find out this
mute
information.
noise
We need the answer.
on Starfield
Yeah.
headset? It's
But
probably
also, it's a really nice headset. Like this, like little clear bit. Yeah, I'm a fan.
That's cool.
It's very cool.
Nice design.
Also, the packaging is all really nice too. Like they went. With,
I
like, a star map for
know.
that.
It was
Like,
beautiful.
super impressive.
All right, I'm in the Reddit thread for the Starfield headset.
We need to know. The people are asking.
Yeah.
Maybe a distress signal could be. Yeah.
Okay, it says
Well, it could
No,
be a noise
they
to
don't
connect
even
to
know.
Wi-Fi.
I'll
No
have
one knows.
to
So I guess it might be a thing we don't find out until the game comes out.
Maybe.
maybe
Maybe it's a secret.
Yeah.
I think
It's definitely like some sort of connection noise, but like I register that. I just don't know what the noise is from. So well, maybe we have to wait to find out. I'm all right with it.
Yeah, I'm
Easter egg.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
I mean I'm happy for that. I mean, I don't know, you probably have, maybe you can have some, conversations at Bethesda. I don't know. You probably got some mates
Well, I
there.
mean,
Ask them.
I could email. I could send Jeff an email.
What is this?
Yeah,
next?
just be like, I'm gonna do it right now. Hang on. We were talking about the controller today to Jeff's Microsoft PR. Let me email Jeff and be like, hey.
Or just ask Todd. Say, hey, Todd.
Yeah, I did see him 2 weeks ago. Do you want me to message Todd?
I will have. We might have to. We'll have to tweet that
I'll
out
send you an
when you
update.
find out. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to that update because I would love to know.
It's the mute button. Is that what it is?
The mute button. Yeah.
Okay. I have asked Microsoft.
Excellent. I can't wait.
Hopefully, we will find out.
Awesome. I actually was really looking forward to seeing more Forza. Oh, it's not Motorsport anymore. Motorsport 8, sorry. It's just Forza Motorsport. I thought there'd be more on that, but they're pretty transparent on their socials, and they've showed a lot of like accessibility. Like there are some people that are driving that can't that are visually impaired, which is really awesome. They've shown like heaps around that, which I love to see it. I actually did a survey today for Forza Horizon 5, and that was about accessibility, and it was like, do you use any of these features, blah 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 blah. And I put in a suggestion. I thought maybe they should just have streams on either the Xbox channel or the Forza channel showing how they use the settings or how they use the controllers or whatever. Like I'd be actually really interested to see how those things are implemented into the game. But yeah, I just didn't see as much of it as I thought I would. So yeah, that's probably one downside that I
feel
saw.
Like that because it's a little bit of a niche, and they kind of know that. Like,
you reckon?
Motorsport even more than Forza. I mean, not everyone's gonna play a racing sim.
Yeah, true.
So I feel like they'll put that on their own channels, like you said, and be extra transparent, rather than in the main show where it's potentially not as appealing to as many gamers as something like Fable. Like people always love an action RPG or an action adventure, so it could be why. And it's also, I think it's kind of hard to show too much gameplay of, again, a racing sim, because they unfortunately can look very similar until you really get your hands on them and start like actually having a deep dive yourself. It can be kind of hard to market.
I just thought there'd be different things, like more information about the garage, that kind of thing, maybe about the way the championship runs, that kind of thing. I mean, like, yeah, it's a racing sim. It's probably going to, be pretty similar, but I don't know. I was actually, I was a bit excited.
Sure, right? We'll get more dedicated trailers probably outside of that show.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I was fortunate enough to go to the Melbourne watch party, which was my first time going to one of these. So I flew all the way from Perth to Melbourne to be there, which was out of my own pocket. So, and yeah, so I was really happy to go. And yeah, like the vibe in the room, like I love hearing people's reactions to each of the trailers and stuff. Yeah. So that was really awesome. Fun. Yeah. What about you, Liessshy? What are you looking forward to?
Well, I am definitely more of a cozy gamer these days. And I pick up my Switch a lot more, which I was like always just PlayStation. But I tend to go for my Switch a lot more now. So the stuff that Nintendo threw out and the Wholesome Direct, some of the stuff in there that I saw, like it's really appealing to me. I think because I spend a lot of the time making content, and then I also still work a normal job 3 days a week as well. So it's very hard to dedicate a lot of time to big titles. So for me, like I'm absolutely dying for a new Super Mario game. Super Mario Wonder was just 2D Mario. I need more of that in my life, and it looks different to what we're used to. So I'm excited to try that out, and I'm really actually excited for Super Mario RPG as well.
Yes, that looks great, doesn't it?
It does. I've never played it, but I did play a few of the Mario and Luigi games growing up as well. So kind of tying that aspect into a Mario game, I think, will be awesome to play. And I really like the way they've remade it or done the graphics again. I think it looks awesome. But going down like the indie path, like I was trying some stuff out through Next Fest, and there was two titles, that I actually really liked from what I played the demos. And the first one was Moonstone Island. And it's like everything I play is farming sims when it comes to cozy games. But this one had it was done in the art style like old Zelda games, like top-down Zelda games and Pokemon, that really like 16-bit looking games, I guess you could say. But it throws in an aspect to the farming sim where you are catching spirits. So it does feel like a little bit of a Pokemon-esque game. Like I could see the inspiration come from that, but I really liked what I played. Graphically, it looks really cool for a pixel art game. And that was just something that, yeah, I really like the look of. And another one was Paleo Pines, which is another farming sim, but with dinosaurs. I've been seeing this all over Twitter recently. It's just kind of blown up, and it reminds me of like a My Time at Portia style game. Like you do have quests and I guess a lot of community stuff to do with people in the community on the game, as in like in the game, the characters in there. But that was just another one that I really liked as well. So they're kind of like the more casual games that I liked, but the big one for me was Spider-Man 2, because I absolutely loved playing the first Spider-Man. It was actually the first PR kit I ever got from PlayStation back in the day. And I was like, I got to play this. I have to play the crap out of this. And I did, and I really loved it. And I platinumed it very quickly. So playing number 2 is going to be awesome. And I loved what I saw at the PlayStation Showcase with what they ended the showcase with, showing that you've got Peter Parker and Miles Morales together. I think it's going to be an awesome game to play. I'm not buying the collector's edition. I'm just going to buy the game on its own and just play through.
It's okay if you do. It's okay.
Oh, no, I didn't pre-order it. Again, I can't justify that money for that, but I'm glad that people have the option to do that. But back on the Starfield situation. So I'm someone that hasn't really dabbled into the Bethesda world, because those games I've never played. And I do have an Xbox, and it just sits behind the TV and barely gets turned on. And I think this might be one that I will actually try. I'm like Ellie, where I am a completionist in games, but I also love having a big open world as well, and just a lot to explore. And I think it's going to be a really good way for me to see that kind of genre or style of game for myself. And yeah, I'm excited to give it a go. Actually, I'm undecided if I'm going to play it on here or if I'll play it on Xbox, to be honest. I don't know.
You've
Probably
got a
will play
really
the
powerful
Xbox.
PC. You've got a really powerful PC. I would
It's a
play
very
it on
cool
the
looking PC.
It looks powerful. This is the Liessshy space station, as I like to call it.
Very cool.
Yeah, no, it's my centerpiece of the room. I wanted to make it look cool. But yeah, I don't know. I think I probably will play it on Xbox just to get that console usage again. But yeah, that's pretty much, I guess, the standouts from what I had. Like there was a lot that I guess appealed to me and that I liked the look of, but they'll be the ones that I'm really kind of like focused on for the rest of the year.
Excellent. Well, fortunately, a lot of the things that Xbox did announce will actually be coming to Game Pass. So
Yes.
you'll get the opportunity to try a lot of them and see if you like them. So
Which is really good. Game Pass makes me happy.
It does. It makes me happy too. We have come to the end of this show. There was one question for you, Alanah. I don't know if you saw it, but it asked about. Hold on. What was your biggest challenge working on God of War?
Look, making games is really hard, and I don't really know how to answer that. I don't really know what a standout challenge would be. It can be tough to work in a really like insular environment, and if I'm like a lot of the problems for writing teams in general is like I just have to think about it until I come up with a solution, and you can't like air it out because it's NDA. You're like, wait, how do we fix this? Damn, okay, and then you just have to sit with it yourself. Like I said, I was playing Power Wash Simulator earlier. Was my means of doing that for game dev stuff. I was like, I have to fix. Okay, let me just play Power Wash Simulator. But I don't feel even necessarily equipped to answer that because I wasn't like as involved as anyone else on the team. I feel like I can't take credit for anything to do with that game. Obviously,
Nothing.
I really cared about the. Well, I mean, I worked on it, but like in such a small way compared to I feel like everybody else did. The team there is incredible, so I don't really feel like equipped to answer it in terms of like. That's the first game that I got to work on as part of a dev team, and for me, it was just like I had to learn everything, and I didn't feel like a challenge. It was a delight, you know. I got to work with these people who've been making games for a really long time, who got to show me how to do things, and it was just like this huge learning experience. And while that can be like very mentally taxing, more than anything, it was just like wonderful. I struggle to identify a challenge that I had with the experience at SMS that I've had so far, or well, at least not one that I can talk about publicly. That maybe one day NDAs, things that are challenging that I'm not allowed to say, but mostly just a really wonderful experience where I had to learn everything, So
That's awesome.
It's a lot, but it is. Yeah, I don't feel negatively about any facet of working at SMS or working on Ragnarok. It's just a really wonderful time. I had a great time.
I think you probably just highlighted something that I think probably people don't realize is when you are working on these games, there's no one outside of the team that can be a soundboard to brainstorm. You can't clear your own head because you're constantly talking about it in that environment. So I can imagine that is quite isolating and could be quite a challenge when you are coming up against situations where you do need to problem solve.
Yeah, it's a type of problem solving I've never really had to do before because it's also a very large scale. So you have to think about how a single change affects every department, So a lot of it's like, okay, well, if I change that, how does that affect this budget and this scope? It's a lot bigger than I think I realized before I started working in dev. I mean, especially AAA dev. I worked on a few indie games, but it's a big thing that is very just unfathomably like trickle effecty, like waterfall effect. Like it's just one change can affect so many departments, and that's definitely a huge thing. And yeah, it is very insular. And even if I were to try to explain certain things to someone I'm close to, like I tried to explain a problem to my mom, and she was like this, and I was like, well, we can't do that because that. She was like this, and I was like, can't do that because of this. Like it's so big and so intricate, and like the games just like live in your head for however many years before everyone else gets to see them. And that's definitely a challenge that I didn't experience in media, where like you work on stuff and then it's just out. Like you work on something for 2 days, sometimes a matter of hours if it's news. Like it's so much faster that working in game dev is years and hundreds of people all on a common goal. I find that very fulfilling, but it's definitely like challenges that I've never had professionally before. So again, still feel like I'm learning. Still feel like I'm figuring it out. I wonder if I'll ever stop feeling that way though, because game dev's just like such a big industry that I'd be surprised if I'm like, well, I figured it out. I don't know if that'll happen. But most of my work on Ragnarok was focused on accessibility, and obviously the game was in development before I joined. That's why I'm uncomfortable taking any credit for it. And it was just a wonderful experience for the most part. I really liked it.
That's awesome. But like you said, whether you're a small cog or a big cog, game development, whether you're, working on things that the player can see when they're playing or whether it's behind closed doors, it all matters. And you know what? I've seen so many people that worked on Diablo 4. They're like, oh my God, I got to mention in the credits. Like, yeah. I'm there. Like, even if
that would
it's
be
someone
so special.
Yeah. Credits are really complicated though too. Like the games industry is like, I had some weird stuff with credits too, where it's very complicated because sometimes people just don't get credited at certain studios, and I think Blizzard has a pretty bad history of that too, of not crediting people appropriately. Like sometimes people don't get credit if they haven't worked on something for long enough, even if they made massive changes.
That's
game dev's really crappy about credits. Yeah, it's really bad. It's something that at least like now that individual game devs are kind of being followed a little bit more, people are talking about it more, because I think previously there was no outlet for anyone to like follow a concept artist on Diablo. Like now those people have more voice against giant Blizzard that they can at least have a little bit more input, and I think we're seeing some change there, which is really nice.
That's awesome.
But everyone is important. Like even you're like a studio ops, like your IT team is important to game dev. Everyone has to be doing their job or everything falls apart very, very quickly. And yeah, it's such a massive undertaking to make a video game. I don't know how anybody does it, but here we are.
No, you do it as a team. You do it all together. Lots of small teams working in, very fine little cogs, big cogs. It doesn't matter. You all make the game. So, well, that brings us to the end of the show. It's been a wonderful time. I do want to not only thank Alanah, for being here. But do tell everyone where they can find you in the interwebs and what you'll be up to this coming week.
I am at Charalanazad on everything. You're not going to be able to spell it. It's fine. It's my middle name. Sorry, it's my name in the middle of Charizard. What am I working on at the moment? I'm going to be streaming AEW wrestling after this. Probably.
Wow.
Yeah, so excited about that. I don't know. I do a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. Nothing in particular. I mean, I have a stream, charity stream coming up in the next couple of weeks. We just have to lock in the date, which will be with Nick, who's the voice actor of Leon S. Kennedy, and Susie Sphere Hunter, where we're going to play through Resident Evil 4 and try and raise as much money for the Trevor Project. So I'm looking forward to that.
Amazing.
We don't have a date for that
That's
yet, so.
awesome. Is that on Twitch?
Tune in.
Yeah.
Amazing.
We got a bunch of stuff to give away.
I
for
will
that
be
too,
there.
So. Yeah, I just don't know when
Me
yet.
too.
Hopefully in the next
Oh, thank you so much. Ellie, what are you going to be up to this week? Let them know. Where can people find you?
Yeah, good question. So tomorrow night I'll be getting back to streaming, which is super exciting because I had a bit of a break for the last couple months. So that'll be on Twitch at Twerkin Queen. That is my streamer name. And then I've got a couple articles coming out with Quest Daily that I interviewed one of my good streamer friends. So if you're after becoming a streamer yourself, that article will have it all on Quest Daily.
Awesome. We actually had quite a little bit of discussion about her streamer name. She's like, do I have to change it? It's not exactly PG. And I said, well, I'm not going to make you change it. Like, but people don't like.
I love it.
I made that choice when I started streaming, knowing that I might give up a couple collaborations. I was going to go Gherkin Queen because I love pickles, but I literally went to change it on Twitch and I started, no joke, tearing, not a word of a lie, tearing up, knowing that I had to give up Twerkin Queen. And I was like, you know what? We're not doing it. We're not doing it. So I made my bed and I am twerking in it. So I'm keeping it for life.
Awesome. All right, Liessshy, where can people find you and what are you getting up to this week?
Sure, you can find me on all socials, Liessshy, how it's spelled on screen, 3 S's. I don't know why, just is. This week, I think I'm working on some more Google stuff because I am a part of Team Pixel, so I work with Google Australia. So we're doing some tablet videos. Got some
that tablet looks awesome. I saw your opening, your unboxing of it. It looks
yeah. I'm actually pretty impressed. So gonna work on some videos for that, and I think I have a movie premiere for Insidious this week, which is exciting. So
cool.
Keen for that. Keen to sit
horror.
like this.
Yeah, that's my favorite horror series. So very jealous. You have to tell me how it is.
I will. That's the one that I keep coming back to, and I don't do well with horror, but I think they did the early half of the series pretty well. So that's what's happening in the next week.
Awesome. Well, enjoy your movie premiere. I've never been to one, but they always look super duper fun. What will I be getting up to? Well, I'm going to be obviously posting this episode onto Spotify, which means I'll be able to link Spotify because I can't do anything unless I have something to post there. So if you didn't catch us live, you can definitely check us out, obviously in the VOD or on Spotify. So that's what I'll be doing. I'll also, I don't know if I'm actually going to be on it, but I assume I am going to be on the Well Played podcast, like I have been on a couple of Tuesdays now. I've been starting to write for their website. I'm a contributor for the website, so and we'll be whatever comes up, gaming news and stuff like that, we'll put it up there. So their podcast is Tuesday, and then obviously my regular Xbox Infinite podcast, which is on before this one, and then this one again. And I'll be prepping for this next episode. And our next guest that we'll have on our next episode is Adine, and she's actually the community manager for Team Liquid, for specifically the female portion. So next episode is going to be about community management and online communities, and we'll be having a discussion about that because I know someone asked in the chat who's our next guest. Definitely looking forward to that discussion. Once again, thank you so much, Alanah. You've been amazing.
Yes,
chat.
Thanks for having me.
To talk to you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah, there is a slight delay. I don't know if that's just on my end. I specifically for you, Doomcutie, that I keep talking over you because it kind of lags out. But I don't know if anyone else is having that problem.
No,
I don't know.
It could be a US thing. I apologize.
Just America things. Just
It could be. I'm sorry about that.
no worries. So thank you to the chat for being here, and we will see you all next week. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.